Good morning, students. Today we shall work out a simple numerical on using 1D bar element on a structure as shown in this particular figure. You can see, consider the bar as shown in the figure and determine the following unknowns: nodal displacement, element stresses. You need to do this by hand calculation using your basics of finite element methods which you have learnt in your previous section, that is discretization and finding out the element stiffness matrix, later on assembling it, applying the boundary condition and find the unknowns. Look at this structure. This structure is made of two different materials. One is aluminium, another is steel. Okay, it is fixed at both the ends. You have this as your coordinate direction plus x. If the direction is like this, in the problem given in the problem, it will be plus x. It has been mostly asked in various university examination. This particular problem is a very famous numerical. They have asked in a lot of examinations. Okay. Now this particular length is 300 mm. This is 400 mm. Okay. The P, the load, is applied at the juncture of these two materials. There is a stepped, cross section. You have a sudden change in the cross section. The area of individual sections are given here. A1 is 2400 mm square. Area itself is given. Suppose they give you diameter or some kind of width or thickness, if it is a square plate or rectangular plate, or if it is a round rod, stepped rod, you would have given the diameters for both the case, for both the sections. But here he has given already the area itself, so it's fine. Then the Young's modulus of aluminium, well known, 70 GPa. Area of element 2 is 600, that is steel portions area. Then Young's modulus of steel is 200 GPa. The load, magnitude of the load is given. What is applied in the positive x direction is 200 kilonewton. Have a look into it. So the same direction it is applied. So at the end of the day, in the load calculation, you need to apply plus value of this 200. If the load is given in the other direction, we should have taken minus. And this is a point load, mind you. So you need to appropriately substituting the load vector in the later stage. Now the step number 1 is discretize into two elements. Have a look into it. This is the aluminium. This is the steel portion. Look at this. So 1, 2, 3 nodes. 1 at fixed end, 3 is at the another fixed end, 2 is at the juncture of two elements on the material. Okay, 2 is a common node between element number 1 and element number 2. Element number 1 is circled, element 2 is also circled, nodes are not circled. U1, U2, U3 are the prescribed displacement. A1, E1, L1 are the respective properties of element 1, guys. A2, E2, L2 will be the respective property of element 2. Have a look into it. Here at the element 2 you have P. The load is applied at P in the positive x direction. Okay, guys. Now in the step number 2, find the element stiffness matrix. Okay, this is general stiffness matrix you have just now derived in the previous sessions, okay, of the lecture. A by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Now K1 for element 1, I will be replacing everything by suffix 1. Nodal connectivity is 1 2 1 2. Okay, because element 1 is connected to two nodes. What are those two nodes? 1 and 2. Have a look into it. Element 1 is connected to 1 and 2. Element 2 is connected to 2 and 3. We have to keep this in mind. Now substitute the values. 70 exponential 3 into 10 raised to 3, 2400 by 300. Keep that all the values in 1 units, either meters or mm or centimeters. Okay, nowadays you need to follow the SI unit, so better you keep it in common units. So this is 70 GPa, so I'll convert into MPa, which is Newton per mm square. Then area, then length, I'll substitute. Okay, have a look into it. You can just, I'll just substitute the 70 exponential 3 400 divided by, you can see you will get a value of 5.6. okay, 5.6 into, you can just put 560 into 10 raised to 3. Now have a look into it. Look here, 560 into 10 raised to 3. So I will take 5.6 inside the matrix and 10 power 5 will be out of the matrix symbol. So this becomes the element stiffness matrix with 1 to 1 to connectivity, 5.6 minus 5.6 minus 1. So I have just simplified this and I have taken 5.6 inside, 10 raised to 5 I have kept outside. So this is very important, simplification. You need to keep it in mind. Make sure that 10 power 5 you are not supposed to miss out while final calculations are done. Most of the students do mistake here. They somehow skip this. Once the steps, you move ahead in your steps of hand calculation. Next, E2 is steel. Steel is 200 GPa. A2 is 600 mm square. Length of the second element is 400 mm. This second element is 400 mm. This length is 300 mm. So you need to carefully substitute the L2, then put 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, because this is connectivity is 2 3. Element connectivity for element 2 is nodal connectivity is 2 3. So I have to write 2 3 2 3 without fail. So it will be very helpful in the later stages. Now if I substitute this, you have a look into it. 200 exponential 3 into 600 divided by 400. I'll get 300 into 10 raised to 3. Okay, have a look into it. I'll get 300 into 10 raised to 3. So what I will do is 10 raised to 3, 3 into 10 raised to 5. I can write 300 into 10 raised to 3 as 3 into 10 raised to 5. Take the 10 raised to 5 common. So you can simplify this. 2 3 2 3. Call it equation 2. You have to compute the global stiffness matrix by adding element stiffness matrix 1 and 2. How to do it? Have a look into it. So you can see 1 and 2 are the elements, 1, 2, 3 are the nodes. 2 is a common node between two elements. So you need to add the stiffness contribution of element 1 and element 2 when you come to 2, or which we have taught in last sessions also in spring problems, FEM with spring problems also, using minimum principal potential energy theorem. Okay, K global I have to write. K global is the assembled stiffness matrix, structural or global stiffness matrix. It is a 3 cross 3 matrix. Why? Because you have 3 nodes. If you have 3 nodes for the entire structure, at node 1 you have U1, at node 2 you have U2, at node 3 you have U3. So how many degrees of freedom? 3 degrees of freedom. 3 nodes, and at each node you have 1 degree of freedom. So generally K size will be how many nodes? Number of nodes is how much? 3 into number of degrees of freedom per node, which is equal to number of nodes is 3, number of degrees of freedom per node is 3. So I'll get a 3 cross 3 matrix. So I have to write this 3 cross 3 matrix. Carefully you pick the values from expression 1 stiffness and expression 2 stiffness, elemental stiffness matrix. What I will do, look into it, have a look into it. So 10 raised to 5 I'll take outside. 1 of 1, 1 to 1 connectivity from here, have a look into it carefully. 5.6, 1 of 1 is 5.6. Next 2 of 1 minus 5.6, have a look into it. 2 of 1 is minus 5.6. Next 3 of 1 will not have any connectivity, so you consider it as 0. Next 1 of 2 minus 5.6. Okay, 2 of 2 here is 5.6. Then have a look into this stiffness. 2 of 2 it is 3 here. So you will be getting 5.6 plus 3. Okay, that has to be added. Why? Because 2 is a common node. 2 is a common node between two elements. You need to add the stiffness contribution from each element. So going forward, more number of common nodes are there. You need to add the corresponding stiffness. So in examination, you will get maximum 3 elements. Okay, 3 cross section problems only because of the paucity of time. So it is ideal for FEM to be carried out, FEA to be carried out on a commercial tool rather than hand calculation. This is only for your understanding. Now coming back to this 5.6, then 3 of 2 will be minus 3. Have a look into it. 3 of 2 will be minus 3. Similarly, if 3 of 1 is 0, obviously 1 of 3 will be 0 because it is always a stiffness matrix is always a square and symmetric matrix. So 2 of 3 will be minus 3. Okay, so I'll fill this. Then 3 of 3 will be 3. This you need to keep in mind, guys. So properly filling the global stiffness matrix. When you go ahead with problems moving forward in truss and beams, the element stiffness matrix itself will become slightly higher than what you are seeing in the bar problems. Okay, so then you need to be extremely careful when you are doing by hand calculation. Now put it in K global U global form. Just you write stiffness K, the load vector U1 U2 U3 F1 F2 F3. Put all these values here, the same form. What I will do is 10 raised to 5. Have a look into it. This should not be skipped. Now what I will do in the next step, apply boundary conditions. Step number 4. What are the boundary conditions? U1 is 0, U3 is 0. You could have seen. Look at this. This is fixed. This is fixed. So 3 is fixed. So what I will be doing? U1 is 0. U3 is 0. So I'll put this. Okay. Now put F2 is plus 200 kilonewton. Why? Because you will see that it is a positive value 200 kilonewton. So you need to take that. I have told you at the beginning. I'll look into it. So what is the direction of X? Plus X. This should be plus 200. So the other way around, you should have taken minus 200. So P is acting in this assumed X direction. We have to take it plus. Keep this in mind going forward in other numericals. Coming back to this, have a look into it. I will by elimination approach of handling boundary condition. Have a look into it. Elimination approach. It's a very important technique widely used in FA. Easy technique to apply boundary condition. There's another technique, penalty approach for multi-point constraint. We'll also learn that going forward. Now what I will do, I will eliminate the corresponding rows and columns of U1 and U2, that U1 and U3. That is row number 1, column number 1, row number 3, column number 3 will be eliminated thoroughly. Okay, going forward. So I'll just cancel it. Then I'll write 10 raised to 5. Remaining term is only 8.6. Only 8.6. I'll keep that 8.6 into U2 equals F2. F2. So I will substitute, simplify. I'll get a positive displacement 0.232 mm. Now I need to do additional calculation. As you complete displacements, nodal unknowns, you can find strains and stresses easily using strain displacement relation. Please remember this, guys. Strain displacement relation for bar or truss you need to remember. So, okay, 1 by L1 minus 1 comma 1 U1 U2 is only for strain. B is the displacement matrix. So once you get U1 U2, you can find strain and stresses. Otherwise you cannot do. So these are all additional calculations. So displacements are the major unknowns in structural mechanics. Once you find displacement, you can find strains and stresses. So you see U1 is 0, U2 you just found as 0.232 millimeters. Substitute here 0.232 millimeters. So 1 by 300 minus 1 comma 1. So simplify, just matrix multiplication will get you 7.73 into 10 raised to minus 4. I will look into it once again. I will demonstrate. So it will be minus 300 into 0 minus 1 by 300 into 0 plus 1 divided by 300 into 0.232. You will get 7.73 into 10 raised to minus 4. So you got this answer. Similarly for element 2, 1 by L2. Remember L2 is 400, not 300. Previous step it is 300. L1 minus 1 comma 1. U2 is 0.232. Okay. Then this will be 0. 0.232 0. You will get epsilon 2 for simplification. Then you will get stresses is simply E1 into epsilon 1. What is E? It is 70 into 10 raised to 3. Epsilon 1 is you know. Similarly E2 into epsilon 2, you get E2 you know, and you know this, and substitute E2 200 into epsilon 2 from the previous step. So you will get, have a look into it, you will get minus 116 MPa. So this completes the evaluation of displacements, strains and stresses. This is often asked for 12 marks in university examinations. If you understand these problems, you can understand any type of FE numerical on truss or beams or various nature of problem going forward. Okay guys, so thank you guys.